And find more information about fight management, fight booking, and more about their MMA Gold Gym at MMAGold.com. Back here on the Verbal Scrap Podcast, we got Craig Wilson in studio. We're chit-chatting about some of the UFC events that have taken place recently and some coming up later this year. Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos in the trilogy happening at UFC 166. I wanted to get a pick for Gilbert Melendez versus Diego Sanchez.
Gilbert.
Do you feel like, and here's what I was thinking, because Diego can take a beating. We've seen him take beatings like crazy.
He has an immense gas tank. Like, initially I thought he was or that Campman was robbed against him, and it's not as strong as it once was, but in that third round he just kept coming. Like, he was battered all to hell, but he just kept coming, and Campman was fading. He was fading so hard. So I had to reevaluate my original impression of that fight when I resaw it.
Quick question before we move on to some of the co and the main event. What do you think about Gilbert Melendez's staying power in the UFC's division?
Oh, I think he's a stud. He'll stay. He brought the fight to Benson. He's got what it takes. I don't know if he'll take the belt from whoever has the belt. Maybe. Lightweight's so stacked with so many guys, and all it takes is a particularly bad night for the champ or a particularly good night for the challenger, and things happen and belts switch hands, and it's a Shark Tank. It's been a Shark Tank. It's gonna stay a Shark Tank.
Especially since Sean the Shark left.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Cormier versus Nelson. Cormier is going to be dropping down, taking on Nelson on his way out in the heavyweight division. Now, the interesting aspect about this co-main event, as reported by MMA Junkie, is apparently Cormier is going to be filing a formal complaint with the Athletic Commission of Texas, I believe, for Roy Nelson to trim his beard. And Dana White, UFC president, agrees with Cormier, saying basically, as I paraphrase, that he wouldn't want that beard rubbing all over him either. What do you think, A, about the matchup, really quick, and then secondly, what do you think about that complaint and the beard talk?
I like both fighters. I like the matchup. To make a pick, I think Cormier is going to take it as much as I like Roy Nelson. Cormier is too good a wrestler and too athletic to let Roy have the victory. As far as the beard goes, I dig beards. I don't care how big and ratty it is, but whatever the commission says flies, let it go. If they say trim it, then he's got to trim it.
I totally respect Cormier completely. I think it's a quasi-chump move. I feel like it's like a smoke screen. Let's get him to think about this and thinking about his beard and blah. My thing is, what's the advantage that the beard gives Nelson? He's not like Samson, where
I've heard actually Kenny Florian comment about facial hair and different sort of hairstyles with absorbing impact, and talking about actually friction, that it decreases the friction, so the hand sort of slides across the face,
Okay, well, how about this then?
I don't know how legit it is. It's just something to think about.
Here's a different perspective on it. So if that's the case, then how come, anyone that's fought Clay Guida or Benson Henderson hasn't filed a complaint formally saying, they're much more likely to slip out of a choke because they got so much hair that I can't wrap around?
That's a good question.
What's the difference between that and having a beard that could... If your facial hair is so strong that it could take a Cormier knockout punch, then maybe Nelson's in the wrong business. He should be doing some chemical engineering for his beard into some sort of products to maybe, I don't know, Rogaine.
Yeah, the facial Rogaine,
I mean, no one has ever fought Roy Nelson and said, tell me Junior Dos Santos thinks he didn't knock out Roy Nelson because of the beard. Or maybe because Roy Nelson has a freaking cranium of granite. Is that possible? This is where I...
But Arlovsky took him out pre-beard, Maybe there is something
magical
but
Orlovsky's been taken out 90 times in a row now. Like, Orlovsky took out a lot of people pre-everything.
But Arlovsky's got fists of steel and a chin of glass.
Orlovsky was taking out people pre-UFC 50. So what are we talking about here? I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I think it's a little hubbub about nothing. So let's get to the main event, Cain Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos. My major question here is, do you think we're going to see the Dos Santos of the first fight who was really eager to get the quick finish and is going to do that? Or do you think the Cain we saw the last fight in their second bout, where he clearly dominated Dos Santos, is the Kane that's going to last for the heavyweight division?
Well, I think you're always going to see the Dos Santos that tries to take guys out faster than trying to grind them down.
Yeah, but I feel like the last fight he didn't seem as hungry. You know, it just something about him seemed a little off.
I'm picking Kane, and I'll tell you why. Getting back to our what we were discussing before, Kane was coming off a long layoff in the first fight and a shoulder surgery. That's not a trivial surgery.
But to be fair, Dos Santos was also injured in the first bout. That's why he was looking to finish quickly. He had an injured knee, I believe. So they were if one of them was injured, they both were injured.
Yeah, I just think I've seen guys come off shoulder injuries and it seems to affect them more than knee problems. And maybe my speculation is way off, but the second fight is what I expected from in the first
I'm in
match.
cahoots with you on that one too.
For the third fight, I'm expecting more of the second fight.
Last thing we want to talk about, UFC on Fox Sports 9 going to be in Sacramento, California.
Stacked.
The main event of the evening, Anthony Pettis, the current lightweight champion, taking on Josh Thompson, originally scheduled to take on TJ Grant. I believe Grant didn't get cleared due to concussion symptoms.
Yeah, he's still, I guess, out with injury,
but Josh Thompson
comes back strong.
Definitely he's from the Bay Area, going to be huge for Sacramento. Obviously, Uriah Faber's on the card, taking on Michael McDonald. Now, this is the matchup that I am so stoked about. Like, I like the main event, but I think
stoked about this whole card so far is just, it's a gift. It's so nice. Oh my!
Chad Mendez also on the card. All the Sacramento boys. Danny Castillo's on the card. But really, the three fights I want to talk about, and we got to kind of get this through quickly. Carlos Condit, Matt Brown. What do you think about the matchup, and how do you see it going?
I don't know how it's going to go, but I love the matchup.
Do you feel it's the natural-born killer or the immortal that's got the advantage in this bout?
I don't know. I think Matt Brown's been hitting guys a lot harder, but Condit's definitely got experience, and I think he's a bit more well-rounded. He's got title fight experience in WEC and title shot experience in UFC, so that's a factor. But Matt Brown's been so violent lately. Oh, I don't know how I can pick it logically, but I'm just excited for it.
Championship matchup, Anthony Pettis taking on Josh Thompson. Now, this is going to be a striker's love fest. I mean, I do see Thompson trying to take down Pettis at some point in time just because of the... I feel like Pettis has a striking advantage. You know, I do feel like training with Rufus, he's got a striking advantage over many guys.
Thompson has the black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but so did Benson Henderson. I favor Pettis' submission game on the bottom more. I favor his striking. He's a finisher. He goes in there and he finishes guys. Rarely does he not finish guys. Yeah, that's how I see it. I like both guys. I like the matchup. I like the skill sets that they're bringing to each other, but I'm favoring Pettis in this one.
Last matchup before we let you go. Uriah Faber taking on Michael Mayday McDonald, bantamweight, co-main event. I feel like both guys, even though, you know, Faber's been around longer, obviously, but I feel like both guys are in the prime of their career, and this matchup is going to really put one of these two guys at an all-time high. Michael McDonald might reach, you know, the highs that he's never seen by beating a Faber in SAC, and Faber might be right back on the map as far as, you know, top dog in the division. He's always in the top 5, but, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, whoever wins this fight's going to have the staying power. How do you see this one going? And you have to make a pick. I'm going to force you to make a McDonald-Faber pick.
I can make a pick. I'm going with Faber. If it's not a championship fight, he pretty much wins it. And sometimes when it's his championship fight, he wins it and takes belts. And he's just had sort of a rough streak as far as title fights go in the last few years. But if it's for contendership or working his way up to a contention bout, he takes it one way or another, whether he finishes the guy or just grinds him to powder over 3 rounds or 5 rounds if it's a non-title main event. Faber's he's a stud. Michael McDonald's no slouch either, but Faber has got lots of experience. He's just got 5 rounds of endless gas tank and elbows of death. Jesus, last fight. Oh, I would not want to be that guy at the bottom.
Well, you've just gotten the full UFC review and preview here with our guest Craig Wilson. I hope you've enjoyed your time, and I appreciate you coming into the studio. Always, always a welcome guest on the Verbal Scrap Podcast. Stay tuned after some commercial breaks for more at srmma.com. This segment is brought to you by MMA Gold, founded in 2010 by Dave Hirschbein. You can find more information about fight management, fight booking, and more about their MMA Gold gym at MMAGold.com.